So, something I haven't talked about very much on this channel, or to many people in general, is my love for reality game shows. Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge, I love all of them. I cherish the ability to look analytically into the depths of strategic dynamics between people and the multitude of scenarios that can result from one slight shift in decision making or one person acting irrationally, which is what makes these games so interesting to me. Seeing and predicting how the balance of strategy and human emotions will balance out and have an impact over the course of the game. And I usually lean towards enjoying the people on these shows who are good at these strategic sides, or marvel at the people who are insanely good at challenges and competitions played on these shows. However, it is a genuine rarity when the prominent thing for me to like about a person is their authenticity. Especially when they are on a show where producers are constantly prodding them to say or do what they think will get the best ratings and cause the most drama. Yet, one of the most real humans that I have ever seen on a reality game show just so happens to be my favorite contestant of all time. Keep in mind, I have seen every episode of every season of all the three aforementioned shows, so this is my definitive favorite player ever. The person that I'm speaking about, if you didn't read the title of this video for whatever reason, is Da'Vonne Rogers. And here's why. Day started her reality show journey on Big Brother 17, a season filled with people that I truly don't care about besides Johnny Mac the Rockstar Dennis. So this gave her a magnificent chance to shine through as the star of the show. She was vibrant and had such a gorgeous energy about her that was raw and absolutely hilarious. Her confessionals were brilliant, and the charisma that she carried with her was unmatched by anyone on her season, and I'd argue anyone in the modern age of Big Brother. And we would have been able to enjoy that charisma and get to know Da'Vonne even more if she wasn't evicted second on a 7-2 vote. She had the charm, she definitely knew how to play the game, so why was she voted out before 15 other people? Well, one of the most common things that I see fans in the comment section stating amongst the swarm of positive comments is that she would have done better if she wasn't as abrasive or let her personality get in the way of her gameplay. And this is the that irks me more than anything in the entire world. And we're about to get into some more serious topics here. There's another person on this season named Vanessa, who was also incredibly confrontational and most certainly abrasive, yet she is often referred to as one of the best players ever and receives almost universal praise for her gameplay, despite being, I would argue, even messier than Da'Vonne. Now, there is a point out there in saying that Vanessa finished 3rd and Day finished 16th, so let's use another example. There's another contestant from this season named Audrey. She was an incredibly brash and manipulative person who was often either confrontational or cowardly, and had zero in between, really. Yet when she is reflected on from this season, she is seen as a good player or a good person who was just under duress. And she only came in 14th. So even though all of these people share similar characteristics, the one person who gets referred to by her negative traits is of course Black. This is something that is very common with Black women who are willing to speak their mind, as in Survivor, there is a very similar situation with, again, one of my favorite contestants, Michaela Bradshaw. During her time on the show, but especially her second season, she was constantly referred to as immature and someone who acted out all the time and a loose cannon. Things like that by her fellow white castmates. And while she did get angry on occasion, during one incident I do remember she was a little over the top, and she used facial expressions a decent amount, I really could not see what everyone was talking about and saw her as a very smart and level-headed player. In fact, there was a point where another Black cast member, Cirie Fields, had to talk to her into being more calm and not wearing her heart on her sleeve from previous experience. Yet, and I say this with the most hatred possible, one of my least favorite people to touch a television screen, Debbie, I do not care what her last name is allowed to be perfectly delusional and vitriolic towards people. Yet when the castmates, producers, and even the host Jeff Probst himself referred to her, they framed her as this quirky old lady who just had the tendency to habitually lie. It seems like no matter what type of atrocities white people can commit on these shows, whether it be strategic or just flat out sociopathic, if a Black person, usually woman, even furrows their brow, they are all of a sudden threatening and difficult to get along with. And that's why I'm so proud to be one of the #1 fans of Da'Vonne. She has competed on 5 complete seasons of competitive reality television, 3 of which were shows that show you to a live feed viewership in the 100,000s for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And during these times on the show, she has been degraded, disrespected, and lied about with complete disregard for her as a person. Yet somehow, every single season, she manages to carry herself in the most dignified manner and continuously outclass her competition. On BB17, she got lambasted with comments about being loud and commanding, and it even lists that as her first attribute on the Big Brother wiki. Someone please fix that. You know the first thing that comes to my mind when I remember Day from BB17? I remember her brilliant ability to clock almost everything going on in the house and point out the major threats in the game before they really even became threats. I remember her fierce loyalty and her constantly striving to achieve the right thing in the house. On BB18, she was essayed by her fellow contestant Frank, and instead of the perpetrator getting kicked out, she had to live in close quarters with him for another week. On top of that, she couldn't get angry because if she did, she would be categorized into the angry black woman stereotype that America loves to perpetuate. So what did she do? She maintained her composure and helped orchestrate his eviction by a unanimous vote the very next week, like an expert player would. On her 2 seasons of The Challenge, after winning only 1 competition in her 2 seasons of Big Brother, she came in and dominated with a 5-2 elimination record and was only inches away from making the final on her 2nd season. She also became a fan favorite that people are asking back constantly to this day, and she's received availability calls for every season since her last. Finally, she came on All Stars 2 last season, had to deal with a white man using the Black Lives Matter movement as a bonding point and a promise to keep her and her best friend safe by sacrificing himself, and then failed to follow through with it, resulting in her one true alliance being evicted from the house. So in a position where most people would be completely demoralized and ready to give up on the game, what did she do? She responded in the most graceful way possible and continued on with her game, even though she had just been incredibly wronged using something that should never ever be used as a strategic vantage point. Then, she put on her game face, she won the veto the following week, and she used it to keep the last remaining ally she had safe, which was only the 2nd time the veto was used all season, due to the giant conglomerate of white people running the game from start to finish. And although she was voted out the very next week, she made an impact forever as she was voted AFP and became the first black person to get the award. From everything that I just put out on a silver platter for you all, it is crystal clear that Day has faced an immense amount of adversity throughout her tenure on reality television and has received a backlash from audience members and castmates alike for just being herself. So I'm completely amazed that she has never once given up on her morals, never once played the victim, and always powered through the intense scrutiny that was placed upon her and continued to succeed. Not only did she succeed in her ventures, but she is constantly advocating for more breakthroughs in reality television, as she was one of the main cheerleaders for Tyshawn Carter Newman during his run to become the first black winner of Big Brother Canada. At this point, she's become one of the leading voices of progress towards equality in the reality television sphere. And if you look at the new diversity pledge CBS has made, promising that 50% of upcoming casts for Survivor and Big Brother and Love Island will be POC, I can't help but think that Day Vaughn at least had a hand in pushing forward that into being fully realized. So not only is she one of the strongest and funniest people to ever touch reality television, but in a sense, she's a revolutionary attempting to bring forward a new generation of competition where everyone is widely accepted to be exactly who they are. And so far, we're on a good track. The new season of Big Brother has seen the alliance called the Cookout form between 5 black contestants, which was definitely inspired by Black Girl Magic, the final 2 between Bailey and Day of the previous season. So, as a final message, Day Vaughn, if the slim chance that you watched this has come to fruition, I just wanted to say thank you for everything. As a white man, I can't say I understand what you or the other black contestants on these shows have gone through, obviously, but What I can say is that my heart breaks whenever a microaggression or just blatant discrimination is glazed over by a person I'm watching the show with. And there still has to be a lot of work done with everything, but thank you so much for being a voice of change through everything that you went through. I have a very good friend who is a black trans woman, and when I showed her your speech on All Stars, she broke down crying. You mean more to people than you even know, and I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am. That being said, I better see you on season 38 of The Challenge, or else I am locking myself in my basement forever. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't, that's also okay. Leave in the comments how I can get better. Thank you so much to my patrons, Weston Katecki and Carl McGee, and my producer, the BC Film Reviews. If you're interested in supporting my content, my Patreon will be in the description along with my Twitter. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and week, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Goodbye.